Hollywood movie mogul Harvey Weinstein has been found guilty of third-degree rape and criminal sexual assault in a New York court this morning. The jury of 7 men and 5 women found him not guilty on the most serious charge, that is predatory sexual assault, which could have resulted in a life sentence.
Let's go live to Washington now, where we are joined by Cameron Stewart, Sky News contributor and also reporter for The Australian. Cam, good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us. A bit of a pivot away from US politics just for a moment, but how significant is this sentence? It really marked the beginning of the Me Too movement, didn't it?
It really did, Pete. It's a huge moment, really. I mean, Harvey Weinstein, you know, as you mentioned, he's been acquitted of the 2 most serious charges against him, but he has been convicted of 2 very, very serious charges still. He'll face between 5 and 25 years in prison for criminal sexual assault. On top of this, of course, he's got new charges, separate charges pending against him in Los Angeles as well. So one assumes that would go to trial, in which case he would probably, if he's found guilty, face even more jail time. So, you know, he's 67 years old. It's really not likely that Harvey Weinstein will see freedom anytime soon. And of course, this is his case was epitomised, if you like, with the Me Too movement. And so it's a very big moment. And you know, you're seeing a lot of reaction right now, quite emotional reaction from the women who have accused him of misbehaviour, and also I think more generally a lot of women just looking at this and thinking, well, there's a guy who actually got nailed for what he did.
And he will be sentenced in March, so in a couple of weeks' time. He was led away from the courtroom in handcuffs by all reports. We are yet to hear from his lawyer. I'm not sure if there's any chance or opportunity for appeal here, but the sentences of which he's been, or the charges of which he's been now convicted on, carries a sentence anywhere between 5 and 25 years. So he is going to jail.
That's right, Laura. In fact, he was remanded straight away. His lawyers argued he should be out on bail until the sentencing, which is actually on March the 11th. The judge said no, that's not the case. And so apparently there's quite a sight. You know, you've got Weinstein limping. Of course, he came in to the court on a walker this morning, limping away in handcuffs. He stared straight ahead, no expression when the actual sentence was announced. I mean, it really is quite a moment for such a celebrated case. I mean, Weinstein, of course, he was one of the most powerful producers in Hollywood, did Shakespeare in Love, you know, Pulp Fiction, you name it. And so really it's a massive fall for this guy. It's a statement, if you like. I guess this verdict is a statement for the Me Too movement. And so, you know, people will watch very carefully to see exactly what sentence the judge does impose in this case on March 11.
Cam, we haven't had you on for a couple of days now. I just want to get your thoughts on the current political climate in the US. I'm not sure that Donald Trump's mispronunciation of Sachin Tendulkar and Virat Kohli is getting much coverage in the US at the moment, particularly because not too many people are aware of cricket, but it's quite humorous. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on that compared to, you know, the obvious Democratic political fight at the moment too.
Yeah, Peter, look, it seems such a contrast, didn't it? You had Donald Trump addressing, what, 100,000 odd people in that massive stadium over there in Delhi. Then, of course, going with the First Lady, Melania, to the Taj Mahal, holding hands. You know, it was really quite a sight. And by contrast, here in Washington, I mean, you can almost smell fear among the Democrats about the Democrat primary race. It's really been quite extraordinary in the last few days. Ever since Bernie Sanders had a runaway win in Nevada, what is happening is that the fractured Democratic Party, if you like, is really looking into its soul. It's deciding how are we going to do this. You know, I mean, there's a lot of fear that Bernie Sanders, as a Democratic Socialist, of course, may be a very weak opponent for Donald Trump, the ultimate capitalist. And so the moderate wing of the party are scratching their heads and thinking, is there anything they can do to try and stop Bernie Sanders' seemingly unstoppable run at this minute towards the nomination? And of course, what's going to happen is within 8 days from now, we may well know whether Sanders is going to win, because we've got the South Carolina primary on Sunday. Yeah, exactly. It's Sunday your time. But of course, Super Tuesday just 4 days later, and that's just a massive moment in this race.
Well, it's a white-knuckle ride for the Democrat establishment at the moment. But in a country where it's non-compulsory voting, Cam, couldn't Bernie Sanders be the guy just to not only get people out and vote, but get people out to vote for him?
Well, that's right, Laura. I mean, this is what Bernie is saying. He's saying, listen, we can beat Donald Trump if we get the record voter turnout. And if he's got a very good ability to mobilise people to come and vote, especially millennials. He's very, very popular amongst younger people. If he can get them out, you know, Donald Trump still has a fairly narrow path towards victory. So, you know, it's quite possible that Sanders might be more competitive against Trump than people think. I mean, this is the great question. We simply do not know. Moderate Democrats do not think he'll be competitive. You know, Sanders people obviously think he will be competitive. Very hard to know, but there's certainly a lot of fear and loathing about his possible candidacy here at the moment.
I guess, too, just to play devil's advocate on Laura's question just then, a lot of Bernie Sanders' supporters are uni students, and they will usually, you know, may well be inclined not to go out and vote just because they never do. But anyway, that's just another opinion out there. But do you think, just a quick answer here, Cam, that Super Tuesday will decide it? Will decide who the Democrats will be putting up?
Yeah, the big unknown, of course, on Super Tuesday, Pete, is Michael Bloomberg, the billionaire who's spent his way $400 million plus in advertising. Not a single vote has been cast towards him because he hasn't contested any primary. So that will be his first contested event. So we'll see whether he's really got any punch, whether he really will pull voters. That could change the game. At this point in time, though, the polls are saying that Bernie Sanders will do very, very well on Super Tuesday, especially in the really big states, California and Texas, which of course have tons of delegates. And so really, at this point in time, Sanders is absolutely in the box seat.
Okay.
Great for news.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Cameron Stewart, great to see you.